Good evening, everyone. My name is Connor Osilla, and today I'll be teaching you how to stand 10 feet tall. But first, I want to tell you a story about a man who failed over and over and over again. At age 22, his first business failed. The next year, he lost a legislature election. The year after, his second business failed. But then, at age 25, he won a legislature election. Maybe things are finally starting to go well for him. But unfortunately, you'd be wrong. At age 26, his sweetheart passed away. At age 29, he lost a speaker election, and then he lost another election at age 34. But then, at age 37, he won a congressional election. Maybe now things are finally getting better for him? You'd be wrong again. Over the next 10 years, he lost 4 more elections. Maybe you'd think that this person is just a footnote in our history, a perennial loser. But then, you'd be wrong for a third time. This man was our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. When asked about how he was able to continue despite all his failures, he stated, "Always bear in mind that your resolution to succeed is more important than any other." Teenagers like me have a problem with their self-esteem. At my school, you often see teenagers crying in their heads in the hallways after one bad test score. Their confidence and motivation is gone just because someone made them think they failed. Studies find that 85% of teens struggle with self-esteem, confidence, or self-worth. That is a staggering amount. That is 6 out of every 7 people that struggle with this. We are always comparing ourselves to others, whether that medium be test scores, looks, performance. The list just goes on. Fortunately, confidence is a skill. It improves over time. So today, I'm going to teach you 4 ways that you can stand 10 feet tall. Here's the first one. All of you, I want all of you to follow along with me. Put down whatever you're holding and curl up into a ball. Try to make yourself as small as possible. Now, stand 10 feet tall. Push your back, puff your chest out, maybe stretch your arms out. Just make sure you don't hit the person next to you. How do you feel compared to when you were a ball? Studies find that proper posture lowers your stress levels by as much as 50%. Maybe when you were curled up into a ball, you felt tiny, insignificant. But when you puffed your chest out, maybe you felt like king of the world. Posture has a lot more to do with confidence than people realize. By polishing yourself, maybe combing your hair, wearing something nice, standing 10 feet tall, you'll find that you not only look confident, but you feel confident too. Next, don't be afraid to try hard things. As another former US president, John F. Kennedy, once said, "It's also on the back wall over there." We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Doing hard things doesn't have to be as complicated as running an Ironman triathlon. You don't have to climb Mount Everest. It can be as simple as just trying a new program or cooking that new recipe you saw online. But while you're working towards these things, you have to remember that when you succeed, you ever feel that you'll be so much happier once you succeed. And when you succeed, you'll find that you not only overestimated the difficulty of the problem, but you underestimated your own abilities. The hardest part is not accomplishing this task, it is knowing that you are able to. Next, when you're working towards a large goal, make sure to break it up into smaller, easy to digest parts. Think about it this way. Most of us know how to ride a bike. When you ride a bike for the first time, you put so many barriers in case you fall. You put knee pads on, helmet, shoulder pads, training wheels on your bike, and maybe you even have someone standing next to you just in case you fall. But as you get better at riding your bike, maybe you start taking those safeguards away. Take off those pads, take off the training wheels, and eventually the person standing next to you, guiding you all the way, steps away. Treat life just like riding a bike. When you start, lower the difficulty, and then increase it as you go on. Think about it this way. If you're training to run a marathon, it would be ridiculous to start by running 26.2. It makes complete logical sense to start by running 1, and then run 2, and then run. Once you work your way up to 26.2, you can finally redo it. But sometimes when you're working towards these goals, it isn't always so easy. We all want our progress towards our goals to look like this. But however, more often than not, they tend to look like this. Struggles and confidence sometimes seem mutually exclusive. Like you cannot have confidence if you fail. However, I think this is wrong. Just like iron sharpens iron, as long as you fail and get back up stronger, you will have more confidence. Abraham Lincoln knew this best. He lost 7 government elections, and he gained a lot of critics along the way. Lincoln's critics suffered from this ideology known as crab mentality. When fishermen fish for crabs, they place them in this small, shallow bucket. The crabs are very prone to getting out, but however, the other crabs are also envious of that crab's success, and they pull that crab down. We are also very susceptible to this, and we love mocking those who want to do something with their lives. This can come in many ways, such as mockery and criticism. However, Lincoln did what my brother does best when I ask him to do the dishes. He simply didn't listen. In reality, your critics are not, most of the time, your critics are not trying to help you at all. They are trying to make you on their level. Your critics are not trying to help you. They are trying to hurt you. And if your critics mock you for failing, just remember, every successful person who ever lived failed at least a couple times. The author of Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, failed 14 times before she published Harry Potter. Winston Churchill didn't even make it to junior high before he failed 6th grade. Thomas Edison, he spent 1,000 tries trying to make a successful light bulb. And you feel like giving up, give up on giving up. Keep trying, and eventually you will do something right. So here's how to stand 10 feet tall. By incorporating these 4 points into your life, presenting yourself well, pushing yourself, breaking down your goals, and ignoring your critics, you too can stand 10 feet tall. When I first learned that I would be speaking with all of you today, I was terrified. But by presenting myself well, pushing myself to write this speech, breaking down the speech into one slide at a time, one paragraph at a time, and ignoring all the critics in my head, I was able to complete it. When I first started the speech, I was 5'7", but now I am 10 feet tall. And you too can join me in being that giant skyscraper. Thank you.